Hi, my name is Mike Gregory, and I'm about to show you our mobile application development environment. To do that, we're going to create an application for ride inspections for Disney. So our mission is that we work for Disney World. Part of our daily duties are to go to each attraction in the Magic Kingdom at various points in the day and capture the following: the date and time of the inspection, the attraction the worker is inspecting, the number of guests currently in line, the number of cast members or employees on duty at the attraction, and the cleanliness rating of the attraction. This information is being collected for the purposes of statistical analysis later via another system. Disney World is always changing as new attractions are introduced, old ones retired, or current ones temporarily offline for refurbishment. The system should accommodate these changes without having to remake the application. Since the requirements indicate that the application shouldn't have to be modified if new attractions are added or old ones removed, it makes sense that the attraction list should be in a database. The application can then generate a list from whatever attractions happen to be on the user's device and online. The requirements also indicate that the information will be used for statistical analysis later. This means we need to process the data collected and create a record of it in our system in a format that is useful for analysis. So the first thing we need to do is have our files or tables created. So we'll go into the MobileFrame Enterprise Data Manager, and you'll see we already have the attraction table created, and I've actually got data in there as well, and that's just to speed up this demo. What we also have to do is create our inspection. So I'm going to create a new enterprise data object. I'm going to call it inspection, and now I have to add the fields or attributes. So I'm going to add an attraction ID. It's a large integer. I'm going to add an inspection date. The date and time. I'm going to add a land. I'm going to add the guests in line. It's going to be a small integer. I'm going to add the cast member count. It's also a small integer. And I'm going to rate the cleanliness. This table is going to contain the inspections that we collect. So I'll save that and sort by object name. Now I have my inspection table here at the bottom. Next, we can create the application. So first I create a new app, and I'm going to call it Attraction Inspection. I can give it a description if I want, and then I have to add some steps to contain the information that we want to collect. So first I will add the inspection date. That's the date and time. I'm going to add the attraction ID. And this is going to be a whole number. Now, I'm coming into the screen to show you the various different types of input that we can collect, all built in within MobileFrame: text, dates, times, whole numbers, file attachments, drawings, audio clips, pictures, barcode scans, etc. In this case, the attraction ID is going to be a whole number. Based on what input type you pick, it will determine what input mechanisms are available to you. So for instance, a whole number you can enter with a numeric keypad or a single line text box or a drop down list and so on. Whereas if I selected a photograph as an example, you can either use a file attachment to populate that step or the camera itself on the device. So I'll change this back to a whole number. And we're actually going to do some workflow on this step, but not yet. Then I need to collect the attraction name. That's just text. And the land. That's also text. The attraction photo. And that is going to be a photograph. And we're going to leave it as a file attachment. Guests in line. That's going to be a whole number. And we'll collect that with a numeric keypad. Cast members. And that's also going to be a whole number with a numeric keypad. I'm going to do a cleanliness rating. This is going to be a whole number, but we're going to use a drop-down list to populate it. And I want those values to be numeric 0 through 10. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm creating my own list, but I could also populate these lists from a database or a grid. Many different ways to populate lists. Okay. I also am going to collect some information in case the attraction is down. And this information is going to be used to send an email or a message to someone in charge to alert them of the fact that the attraction is down. So I'm going to add attraction down. And that's going to be a whole number, but it's going to be a checkbox. Then I'm going to add a cause for the attraction being down. Make that a drop-down list containing safety, lockout, protein spill, or e-stop. This is emergency stop. And then I also have to add a save button to save the inspection. That's going to be a function button, and we'll come back to the workflow on that. So some simple workflow. What I want to do is once I pick the attraction ID, I want to populate the attraction name, the land, and the photo so that I can show those to the user. The name is actually not going to be shown, it's going to be used in the email. So I'll go into the attraction IDs workflow after the steps value has been changed. So after the user has selected an attraction, I'm going to auto-populate some data, and that data is going to be from the attraction table, where the ID is equal to the attraction ID that was selected. And I'm going to pull in the attraction name, the land, and the photo into the matching steps within the application. I could pull these directly from the server, but I'm not going to because I'm going to assume that this is an application that needs to be used offline. The next thing I want to do is if the attraction is down, I want to show the cause field. So I'll go into the attraction down step after the value's been changed, and I'm going to say if attraction down is equal to 1, meaning it's checked and the attraction is down, then what I want to do is I want to make the cause field visible on the screen. Otherwise, so I'll do an else, then I can just copy this and paste it and drag it down. Else I want to have the cause step not visible on the screen. And I'll close my if. Then I also have to populate the save buttons with some workflow. When I hit the save button, I want to do two things. I want to complete and close the application, and then I want to synchronize. Start a sync. And that will take the data that I've captured and synchronize it back to the MobileFrame server. After that data gets to the server, I need to do something with it. So I'll go into Application Workflow after the results have been received on the server, and I'm going to create our inspection record. Just populating the fields in the table with the fields from the application. And these were not named exactly the same, so we have to populate those by clicking down on them. I'm going to create a new record and hit OK. That will create our inspection record. Now we also said that we wanted to notify someone if the attraction was down. So I'm going to say if attraction down equals 1, meaning it's down, then I want to do something. Maybe I'll send an email, and I'll fill in my email settings. Now who do I want this email to be from? I'll just do not reply at gssolutions.com. For the to, I could insert a step here if I wanted to. I don't have a step for email, so I'm just going to mail it to myself to show you how this works. And for this subject, I will say attraction down. And in the message body, I'm going to say attraction name is down with a cause of whatever the cause was. I'll hit OK. That's going to send an email. Then I could also send a message to the administrator with the same information on it. And I'll close my if. And one other thing we should do is when the application starts, I want to auto-populate the inspection date with the system generated date and time. So we have all of our fields created. Now I need to put them on the screen. By default, MobileFrame creates a screen layout. I'm actually going to just clear that layout. And we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is take MobileFrame's built-in navigation off of the screen because we have our own save button. Next, I'm going to put a logo on here. I'm just going to plug an image on. Then I need to put my steps on there. So I can create steps right from the screen designer, but I've already created our step. So I'll put the inspection date, the attraction ID, the land, and the photo out there to start. And then I'll just reorganize them so they look nice. One thing I forgot to do was to make the attraction ID a drop-down. So I'm going to edit right from the screen designer this attraction ID step, and I'm going to change it from a numeric keypad to a drop-down list. I want that to be created from enterprise data. I'm going to pull the attraction table, and I'm going to display the attraction name, but I'm going to store the ID of the attraction. And now that change is made, and it shows as a drop-down item. The land I only want to display, so I'm going to make that a label and shrink it down so we have some real estate. Go ahead and put the photo out there, but I don't want to show it this way. I want to show it as an actual picture. So shrink it up and move it up. Then I want to have the guests in line, cast members, and the cleanliness rating that I'll put on the screen. I can change all of these at once. I can move the labels to the left, make the label width 115, move them together. I need to put the attraction down and the cause on the screen, so that's going to be a checkbox and the cause. I need to move these up a little bit so we have some room for our button, our save button, and I'll put the save out there. I want this button to look a little bit prettier, so I'll make it an image function button. Attach an image to it. Can't read it very well, so I'll make the text white and I'll bold it. There we go. So now we're ready to test. So I'll go into test settings. I need to create a new test project. I'll just call it Disney. We'll make it active. I have to add the application that we just created to this project. I have to add users to this project, which can be dynamic or individually selected. And then the last thing I have to do is add dynamic data because I need to get all of the attractions out to every user. I'll save the project, hit OK, and I'll test it. Date and time are plugged in automatically. I can select Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It pulls in Frontierland as the land, pulls in the photo of it. When I check attraction down, the cause appears. If I uncheck it, it disappears. I need to select a reason or a cause for the attraction being down. There are 63 guests in line and 5 cast members on site. And it's a 9 for cleanliness. When I hit save, It's going to save the results, synchronize them back to the server, and run the after results are received on the server workflow, which in turn will send an email and a message to the administrator. So I will hit save. Now I'll stop testing. There's our message to the administrator, popped up immediately. And then if I go to my email, there's our email. Also, in order to show you that the inspection was actually created, we'll go into our inspections table, and there's our new inspection. And so I hope that gives you a vision into how easy it is to create applications within the MobileFrame environment. Thank you.